Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Radha Gopinath Shri Radhe Jaya Jaya Radhe Jaya Shri Radhe Jaya Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadrama Jaya Jaya Gauranithai Jaya Gauranithai Jaya 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 Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gurudev Nitai Gaura Haribol Nitai Gaura Haribol Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Namo Vishwapa Pamansha Paripajagacharya Ashtotter Shata His Divine Grace of Chana Vinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON Founder Acharya, Beauty Founder Acharya Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवाशदि श्री गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरी गोवर्धन की जय। श्री श्री वृंदावन मथुरा धाम की जय। श्री श्री नवदीप मायापुर धाम की जय। गंगा माय जमुना माय की जय। भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। उपस्थित समवेत गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Namo Vishwadaya Krishna Shrimade Bhakti Java Sangha Prabhupada Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. So welcome to Srimad Bhagavatam class. Today we are going to read from Canto 2, Chapter 8, titled Question by King Parikshit, text number 15. Bhupatala kakuvyoma. Bhupatala kakuvyoma. Graha nakshatra bhuvritam. Graha nakshatra bhuvritam. Sarit samudra dvaipanam. Sarit samudra dvaipanam. Sambhavaschaitat okasam. Sambhavaschaitat okasam. Bhupadala kakuvyama. Graha nakshatra bhuvritam. Sarit samudra dvaipanam. Sambhavavaschitat okasam. Bhupatala kakuvyama. Graha nakshatra bhuvritam. Sarit samudra dvipanam. Sambhavaschaitat okasam. Bhupatala kakuvyama. Graha nakshatra bhuvritam. Sarit samudra dvipanam. Sambhavaschaitat okasam. Word by word translation. Bhupatala, underneath the land. Kakub, the four sides of the heavens. Vyoma, the sky. Graha, the planets. Nakshatra, the stars. Bhuvritam, of the hills. Sarit, the river. Samudra, the sea. Dvipanam, of the islands. Sambhavaha, appearance. Cha, also. Etat, there. Okasam, of the inhabitants. Purport by translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada, Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. O best of Brahmanas, please also describe how the creation of the globes throughout the universe, the four directions of the heavens, the sky, the planets, the stars, the mountains, the rivers, the seas, and the islands, as well as their different kinds of inhabitant takes place. Purport, the Bhaktivedanta purport. The inhabitants of different varieties of land, etc., are differently situated, and not all of them are equal in their respects. The inhabitant of the land are different from the inhabitant of the water or the sky, and similarly the inhabitants of the different planets and stars in the sky are also different from one another. By the laws of the Lord, no place is vacant. By the creatures of one particular place are different from those of other places. Even in human society, the inhabitants of the jungle or the deserts are different from those of the cities and villages. They are so made according to their different qualities of the modes of nature. Such adjustment by the laws of nature is not blind. There is a great plan behind the arrangement. Maharaj Parikshit requests the great sages Sukadeva Goswami to explain all this authoritatively in accordance with proper understanding. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manovishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Sapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shiyuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamsya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Dunatam Tantam Sajivam Swadvaitam Savadutam Vaigana Shahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanitam Scha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namosute Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshware Vrishohan Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpataru Vesha Kripa Sindhu Vayevacha Patithanang Pavanevyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Bhashadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Tava kathamritam tapta jivanam kaviviriritam kalmashapaham shravanamangalam Srimadatakam bhuvi grinnati debhurida jana bhuvi grinnati debhurida jana. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. So we're reading from this chapter where King Parikshit asking so many questions to Sukadeva Goswami, and basically this all, Srila Prabhupada explained that all our spiritual life is based on questions and answers, and even we see that at the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, it's also started with questions, 6 questions. And to give the answer of those 6 questions, we actually get this whole Srimad Bhagavatam, how it gets described. So in specific verse, Parikshit Maharaj asking question about the creation of the universe. So we have We have gone through this in, like we have touched upon it in the previous verses. But today what we are going to basically touch that on the points how the creation got, like, it got made, then why, and then certain elements that also discuss in this verse about what Parikshit Maharaj is inquiring about the different elements in this material nature, how they got created, and also the inhabitants. So if we start with how, so we know that, to start with Krishna, from the first Aishwarjasya Samagrasya, like, so he has all the 6 opulence in full. So he has all the strength, all the fame, all the beauty, and then wealth, knowledge, and renunciation. So all of them he is in full. So this is the main 6 opulences. Then there are also secondary opulences of the Lord, and one of the opulences are that how the Lord expand himself to actually create this material, this entire universe. And we see that, how that start from Krishna, the Mahavishnu came and appeared as a Karanodakshaya Vishnu in the causal ocean, and the Karanodakshaya Vishnu actually created all this like material universes, and then Garvodakshaya Vishnu, from Karanodakshaya Vishnu came Garvodakshaya Vishnu. Garvodakshaya Vishnu entered into each of those universes. So we have that picture somewhere there. Yes, I think at the back, like where from the pores we can see that it's the universes are coming out, and then Garvodakshaya Vishnu enters into all those universes to give it life. So the universes just got created but didn't have any life. So Garvodakshaya Vishnu entered each of them. And then after that, within that each universe, there are different elements got created. Living beings got created. And then Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, another expansion comes from Garvodakshaya Vishnu, and Kshirodakshaya Vishnu enters in every element's heart and to make it life. So that's how this whole creation. So if the question is how this creation, so that is like from Kshirodakshaya Vishnu to from Karanodakshaya Vishnu to Garvodakshaya Vishnu to Kshirodakshaya Vishnu. So, and we have gone through we have touched upon it, and we will be going through in detail in the coming verses. But then if we want to think that, okay, that is the how, but the important thing is why. Like the Lord, he is in Golok Vrindavan, and he is enjoying there. So what's the reason behind this creation? And also, we see that from the Karanodakshaya Vishnu, from his navel, the lotus flower comes out, and on that lotus stem, lotus flower, Lord Brahma appeared, and then Lord Brahma took in charge of all this creation. He's in charge, but he's not the one who has created it, but he is in charge. But why this was why Krishna has to create all this, and then also appoint a manager there, that for all this creation? Well, the reason is because Krishna is so merciful. And why I'm saying that? Because the entities, spiritual beings, who actually got rebellious against Krishna, as per the laws, they fall down from the spiritual nature, or from the spiritual world, when they get rebellious. Now, how they will go back to the spiritual world? They need to have some kind of, position, or say they need to have some kind of way to go back to the spiritual world. So this entire material creation was created by the Lord to give the spiritual being who actually fall down from the spiritual world, to give them an opportunity to go back to the Godhead. So we see that, the Lord, he is so, yes, he see that, okay, these are rebellious, but even after that, he is giving all of them an opportunity to go back to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And we see that it's like, in every, in every aspect, if you see that this material creation, this is such a huge, it's that creation is not a very easy thing. But for Krishna, it just happens within a blink. But if you see how it was created, so many things needs to be in the place. But Krishna just makes sure, yes, everything is happening so that all of them who are actually out of the spiritual world, they can live nicely there, like from their perspective. They can actually go, we know that this is Ashwashatam Dukkhalem, right? But still, it's not like that we are dying every moment, right? We are still, if you do the things as per the laws of the land and things, you can still have a, materially, speaking from materialist point of view, you can live a life, a good life. But then also Krishna didn't stop at there. He also then provided the lessons. Like how, by maintaining those or going through those lessons, someone can go back to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, and also on top of that, and this is how we see that how magnanimous he is. It's not only he stopped there. So he created this world. He gave us all the necessary things, all the lessons. But then also he gave us the independence. That, okay, I'm providing all this to you. Now it's up to you. If you want to take it, take it. If you don't want to take it, it's okay. But just imagine, if, suppose I'm creating something for someone whom I really love, and I say, okay, please take it. It will be really good for you. Please take this. And that person is not taking it. But Krishna is like, okay, it's up to you. So it's just if you just think about it, and you see how merciful he is. It's just amazing. You can't find anything like that anywhere. That it's a person, Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is providing all these things to us. And he's not even pushing us. He knows that if I don't take this path, I'll go through and I'll have so much pain. He knows that. But still, okay. Because from your perspective, you are thinking you will enjoy. Okay, go. And then what happened? When we try to go through that path, when we try to move away from Krishna, what happened? We get into this cycle of birth and death, right? This 84 millions, or 8.4 million, in a different species or entities. What's happening there, basically? If you think that what is one of the biggest form of insults in the material world? That there are so many insults that you can insult someone, but if you take out someone's cloth, right? That seems to be a big insult. We see that's what Duryodhana wanted to do for Draupadi, disrobed her, right? But when you think about going through this 8.4 million, actually what's happening? Our dresses have been taken out and we are just going through a different body. In Bhagavad Gita is saying, Vasamsi Jinnani Yatha Vihaya, right? That your dress is old and torn up and you're just taking a new dress. So our dress has been taken out. Not by our will, by the way. I want to live with that dress forever. But I can't. So ultimately, as per the law of the time, my dress will be taken out. And then I will be put into a different. And then it will be again taken out and it will be put into a different body. So it's just getting whatever, I don't want to die. But it's the death, that insulting me by killing me. I have created so much opulence, so much fame, everything. But saying, your time is up, you have to go. Doesn't matter if you are billionaire or you are you're a street dweller. Doesn't matter. You have to go. So that's we go. But then when we go through those, if we don't have this spiritual understanding or the knowledge, then we actually simply doesn't matter. Right? We think, okay, yeah, we'll just go to, most of the people doesn't even want to think that there, after death there is something in this present day and age. It's like, yeah, like, why I have to think about death? Let's just enjoy now. That's the philosophy. Let's just enjoy now, like, death will come somewhere. What to think about? We are even thinking about what will be happening after that. The aftermath. No consideration, simply, nah. So, we see that that's why Krishna is Krishna, like, he, and that, all the knowledge of like this, like, how our material nature is, how our material body is, what is the characteristics of soul, everything has been given. So Krishna first gave that, all this knowledge through Bhagavad Gita. Like, you are not the body, you are the soul. Very precise. So gave all these knowledges. And then we see that was in Bhagavad Gita. And then through Srimad Bhagavatam, we see how those knowledges get applied by all Krishna's devotees. So Krishna gave us all these lessons. But still, it's like for us, still it becomes really hard for us to take all these lessons and dwell on that, because the other side of it, Maya actually puts so many allurement for us, it's just so much easy. Here you have to read, like, you have to wake up in the morning, you have to chant your rounds, you have to listen to a Bhagavatam class, like, all those things you have to do. So much hard work. Rather than, like, you just wake up from the sleep, just go to your office, work for 12 hours like an ass, then come back, watch movies. Very, very satisfying life. It's just like, makes so much sense. Like, seriously. Rather than what you guys are doing, like, you're just waking up in the morning and things like that. So that's why, like, this is the, like, again, Krishna is giving this. Okay, you want to do this? Do it. But all those knowledges, everything has been given from Krishna to Brahma. Like, what did Krishna did? First thing, after when the creation started, right now, the first thing that Brahma get this knowledge. So that's the passing away of knowledge from Krishna to Brahma through his flute and Brahma. So that's why it's not only he gave us this creation, all this universe, he gave us this knowledge. So in this specific verse, like, as Parikshit Maharaj is inquiring about the creation, and also he's inquiring about all these different, elements in the creation. So everything, like, Krishna, and then Krishna, when he gave us this knowledge, right, he gave us this knowledge that, in a way, that actually we get the understanding of the spirit of the Supreme Personality of Godhead from everything. Like, yes, we get it through our, like, spiritual master, like, obviously, tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnana seva. But also with the other aspect of the material nature also, we can get that understanding. So we see that Krishna, before he left this material world, at the end of the Kali Yuga, he gave this knowledge again. So he gave this knowledge to, he gave Arjuna as part of Bhagavad Gita. But before he left, he gave lots of other things, like, this knowledge is to Uddhava. And that's also called Uddhav Gita, which is Canto 11. And in Uddhav Gita, there is a section where Krishna is describing that these pastimes between Dattatreya and King Yadu. And there Dattatreya is explaining, like, he's in a he's a Abhudut, or somewhere he is also considered as a Avanti Brahman. So Dattatreya, he was roaming into the forest. King Yadu saw him, and he went to him and said, like, you're such an effulgent personality, like, you're so happy. How? Like, please give me that secret too. And then Dattatreya explained to him that he actually have 24, like, he got this knowledge based on which he is happy. He got that knowledge from 24 different elements in the nature. 24, either living or living beings, or there are also our main elements in the nature that he got the knowledge from. And that's based on that he is happy. So I was just thinking that, today just wanted to also touch upon that, how that, will not have time to go through all 24, but just start with the 5 main elements of this nature and how it gives us spiritual understanding. So we know, the first 5 main elements are, earth, water, ether, and then fire and air, right? These are the 5. So if we see just one by one from earth, earth is something that it actually teaches us, we wanted to just focus on what is the lesson we are getting from each of these elements. So earth, it's actually always have a mode of service. It's serving others. So if you see the mountains and the trees, right? They are staying at one place. They are not moving. They have all the opulences. If you see the mountain, Giriraj Govardhan, have all the opulences. But what he is doing? He is always serving Krishna and Krishna's devotees. So in a way, from the mountain, what we learn is to, irrespective of having all the opulences, the mood should be always serving others. Serving the Lord and Lord devotees. And also, another thing it teaches us is the patience and the forgiveness. So we see that if you see the example of the tree, right? Standing at one place for years and years and years and years, patiently. And forgiveness, yes. Sometimes we go and we cut the trees, we take out the fruits, we take out the branches, but still, it actually forgives and gives us service more and more. I remember when I was a kid, I was reading a cartoon, and it was saying that a person went and cut a tree, right, with the axe. And that tree was in that person's house. When the person was a little, kid, he actually planted that tree. And as he was growing up, the tree was also growing up, right? And throughout his life, the tree was always saying how the person is growing up, getting married, having kids, and the tree having fruits, and all the family is getting that fruit. But at one point of time, this person actually has, gone through financial difficulties. So to get some money, he thought, okay, I have to cut this tree. So he cut the tree with axe, right? The tree fall down. And then the tree is saying, "Oh, after you cut me, you're probably very tired. Why don't you just sit?" When you cut the tree, and then the base of the tree is saying, "Please sit down, take some rest. You are too tired." So this is the thing, this is the attitude, forgiveness and serve. That's what it teaches us. That's we see from the earth. Then the next one is sky. We see in terms of sky is so vast, so big. Sky is everywhere. In this world, wherever you go, there are the mountains, there are in certain places. The sea, the river, they are in certain places, But sky is something which is kind of omnipresent everywhere you go. So it actually gives us this, the feature of the Lord, that He is omnipotent and omniscient and omnipresent everywhere. And skies also, like, we see that sometimes the skies, they are like covered with clouds. Sometimes there is like thunderstorm. Sometimes there are so many things are happening, like there is a rainbow, right? But the sky itself doesn't change. There are different, like, there are different seasons. Because of that, the changes we can see. But the sky itself doesn't change. So it gives us this understanding that you are not the body, you are the soul. So the body, it goes through so many changes. Different, like, from our childhood to when we are growing up, and when we like old, and it goes through the decay. So, but the soul remains the same. Similarly, sky gives us this knowledge that although there are so many things changing in there throughout the day, but the days end, the sky remains the same. So that's from sky we learn. Then next one is water. So what water teaches us? Water actually teaches us is it purifies everyone. So it's the nature of the saintly personalities. Like, whatever we do, like, what is the first thing we do after we do anything? Like, we are out, we are dirty, or whatever we do, the next thing we do is take a shower. Why? Because it's purifiers. So that's why it teaches us that to take the association of the saintly personalities. The more we take the association of the saintly personalities, it will purify us. So that's what we learn from the water. Then air. What do we see? The characteristic of the air. The air goes everywhere. Now, like the sky, air is also everywhere, alright? Otherwise we will die, because we need the air. If the air goes past a garden of flower, roses, if you're standing outside, you will see such a nice smell, right? And if it is, goes through a garbage bin, if you're like, sometimes you see, like, you're driving and the garbage truck are just in front of you, right? And you can smell it. But the air actually is not getting that quality of that bad or the good fragrance. Air actually is odorless, right? But as it goes through the different channel, it takes up that. So similarly, right, for someone in the spiritual life, they remain uncontaminated. How in Bhagavad Gita it's explained, the sthita pragya, right? Matraspashyato kanteo shitoshno shukadukheda. Like, irrespective of, like, you're going through a good time or a bad time, or you are, like, you're happy or you're sad, right? Always remain calm. It's similar to for the air, like, it's there are different phases of the life, but as a soul, it should remain unchanged. It's not easy, and why? If you want to think about, like, how you think about this kind of situation when it's again, Srila Prabhupada explained to us that when the good time comes, you actually offer your gratitude to the Lord, saying that thank you very much for all these good times. And when the bad times are coming, when you are going through a bad time, what you are doing? Again, you are offering your gratitude to the Lord that worse could have happened, but thank you, my Lord, that actually you have saved me. Otherwise, worse could have happened. So that's feeling of gratitude. So that feeling of gratitude remains one calm through the phases. So whatever the situation we are going through, we remain steady. So that's what we learn from the air. And then the fifth element, the fire. The fire, what we can learn from the fire? Fire is actually, again, described as like a saintly personality. When you want to serve a saintly personality, right, you have to be careful. If you just approach a saintly personality and just want to behave with that person in a, like, how you put it, like in a way which is not prescribed, or it's not in a respected mode. Like pariprashnena sevaya, like tadvadi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya, like with a surrendered mood. If you don't go to that person, then like fire, it can burn you. So we have to be really careful when we are dealing with saintly personalities. The saintly personality might not do anything, right? They are very forgiving, and they are like always very merciful. But the Lord will not tolerate that. If the Lord sees that if His devotees getting blasphemed, or if devotees, like someone is harmed, like putting his devotee into harm, the Lord will take that action. So it's like a fire. And knowingly, if you want to actually harm a devotee, then be prepared for that consequences. On the other hand, if someone, with their surrender to that personality, then that saintly personality, what the fire does, the fire actually burn all the contamination. Right? When I used to be in the college, I used to be a student of chemistry. So before any experiment, we used to take, we used to do all the experiments in the different glass vessels, right? But before we put the solution there, we used to take it on top of the fire for a few seconds to make sure if there is anything before, then it is actually burned away. So similarly, it's used as a way that the fire actually takes out the contamination. So if we surrender, it will help us. If you are not surrendered, if we blaspheme, it will burn us. So that's what we learn from the fire. So, okay, I think we have 1 minute. I just wanted to share two more because it was interesting. The moon and the sun and the moon. From the moon, what we see, that it waning and waxing throughout, that phase of from Amavasya to Purnima. So similarly, it gives us the teachings that our body goes through, from the birth to old age, but the soul remains the same. So it's just waning and waxing, right, for the moon. And the sun, it reflects on everything, so the sunlight comes and it actually goes to everyone, but the sun remains undivided. So that is the characteristic of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Like the Supreme Personality of Godhead he appears to everyone, like how we saw that Karnadakshay Vishnu, Sirodakshay Vishnu, Garbhadakshay Vishnu. Like that, the sun rays comes to everyone, the soul is in everyone, but the sun remains undivided. Similarly, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, thank you. It's time. Thank you for listening to the class. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.